This is a Ducati Monster 696, a great bike, and this is a very clean specimen, but currently it's quite dirty. This one just had hundreds of miles put on it in the canyons this last weekend, and now it's time to be cleaned. But there are some tips and tricks when cleaning a motorcycle that differentiate it from cleaning a car, and that's what we're gonna show you in this video. This is how to clean a bike the Gyeon way. So for the most part, when washing a bike, it's similar to a car, but there are a couple things that you should pay attention to and a couple of things that are different, like, for instance, exhaust plugs. You should put these in the exhaust of the bike so that no water gets in there. Would it burn off? Would it evaporate after you ride the bike for a bit? Probably, but it's just a good precaution because complicated exhaust routing and stuff like that might trap some water in there and start corrosion from the inside. Also, another thing would be a pressure washer. Some people say you can't use them on motorcycles, but these are meant to be ridden on the road all the time, and what comes with that is riding in the rain. So they are fully sealed for the most part, especially modern bikes, and as long as you don't point the pressure washer close to any maybe like electrical components, switches, and stuff like that, you should be good to go. So in an ideal situation, you have an actual bike stand, which would allow you to rotate the rear tire as well as the front, allowing you to clean behind the swing arm and all of that. But most of you don't, so we want to give you guys something that's more realistic. When it comes to products, we're using Gyeon Iron Wheel Cleaner Redefined. This is the new, better smelling one, and this is going to be great to remove all this dirt and brake dust that's on this bike that gets ridden hard on the weekends. And then we have Tire Cleaner. This is going to be great for removing this browning, also called blooming, on these short sidewalls. When it comes to tools, we just have a basic set of wheel brushes. So one of the main differences between a car and a motorcycle is this right here, the chain. Now, how do you go about cleaning that? How do you go about lubing that? Well, the best way is to use a dedicated chain cleaner, spray it on there, allow it to sit for a bit, and then that will mix with the grime, and then you rinse it off with water. Then once the wash is completed, you use your dedicated chain lube. Now, you want to make sure that the chain is completely dry before you do that, and the best way to do that is use some sort of forced air. So the front of this bike is completely covered with bugs. Like I said, it was ridden pretty hard in the canyons last weekend. Now, to safely remove those, we're gonna use bug and grime. We're gonna spray this on, let it sit for a couple of minutes, and that would help dissolve all of those remnants on the bike. While that's happening, we're gonna spray it with foam. This is our pre-wash, pre-soak product, and this will completely cover the bike and allow us to remove all of the heavy contaminants and rinse it off before we get to the contact wash, reducing the chance of scratches. Another thing that differentiates a motorcycle from a car are all the exposed components. In order to clean those, and there's a lot of crevices, there's a lot of cracks that you have to get into where stuff traps, a lot of gravel, a lot of dirt, we're gonna use APC from Gyeon, and we diluted this 1 to 10 with water, and then we're gonna use this long bristle brush to get in there and work the product and the grime around. Now, we're only gonna do it on areas necessary on the bike, and most of that's gonna be around the 700cc engine. Now it's time to use our shampoo. For that, we're using Bathe, and we're using it because it's super slick, super safe, pH neutral, and it's gonna be pretty much the same on a bike as a car. You're hitting all of your larger surfaces, your paint, your plastics. We do have a seat on this bike, which we will hit with this as well, but it's gonna be a pretty much standard process, and we are using 2 buckets for this. comes to protection for motorcycles, one of my favorite products and my favorite choice for this application is Wet Coat. Super easy to use, spray on, rinse off sealant. Gonna get many weeks out of this product on a bike especially, so I'm just gonna mist it all over the bike, rinse it off, and it's that easy. Now that the bike is all clean, all we have to do is dry it. Now, thanks to Wet Coat, it should shed a lot of this water more easily, and we're gonna use a forced air dryer, specifically one from Blow. They're pretty nice. And we're gonna use it to get into all these crevices. Now, kind of like with a pressure washer, you don't wanna get the nozzle too close to any areas that might be delicate. So we're gonna keep our distance in a lot of it, but when you're talking about engine fins and all that stuff, because this is an air-cooled bike, we can get closer. So this thing's almost done. Let's go ahead and dry it. And that's pretty much how to clean a motorcycle. It's very similar to a car, a couple tips and tricks, and just make sure you use the right products and tools. Well, this thing's clean. Now it's time to go get it dirty again.